My name is Miss Julie and I work for the Schenectady County Public Library. Today we are going to be doing 3 different color science experiments. The first one's called the walking rainbow, and you're going to need some food dye, some cups, water, and paper towels. The second experiment we're going to be doing is dyeing flowers. So you're going to need that same food dye and cups, and you're also going to need some white flowers, some scissors, and the help of an adult. And for our third experiment, we're making spinning tops. So you'll need some paper or cardboard, toothpicks or Q-tips, and some glue. I'm really excited to explore color with you, so I'm going to go collect all of my supplies and then we'll get started. One of our color activities today is called the walking rainbow. So for this activity, you need paper towels, water, 6 clear cups, and food dye. So you're going to need the help of an adult. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your cups in a circle. Then you're going to put the food coloring in each cup before you add the water so that it mixes it while it's being poured in. We want to do a rainbow, so we're going to do red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. I only have 4 colors here, so I'm just going to have to use the box and mix some colors to make it happen. So I'm going to get started on that. All right, so all of my dye is in my cup, and now I'm going to add the water. So now that I have all of my water in my cups, I'm going to add the paper towels so that we can see if the colors will walk from one cup to the next. So you're going to need to take a paper towel and fold it in half like this, and then again. And then what you're going to do is after you have enough of them, you're going to dip them into the water and we're going to wait. So I'm going to make a few more. So now I'm going to add them into the water. So you're going to make it like a tent. I'm going to dip it in the water so that it stands up. You can already see the color walking up the paper towel. And now we wait. So some questions to think about while you're watching your rainbows walk from one cup to the next is, why does this happen? Why is the water able to move up a paper towel? We have gravity, right? Shouldn't it have to stay down? We're going to learn a word in one of our other activities that will explain that. So our rainbow has fully walked from cup to cup. This is a fun activity to do at home, and you don't have to make a rainbow. You could talk about color mixing. So what happens if you put a red cup next to a blue cup? What color do you get? Purple. So this could be an extension on an art class or just a fun thing to do. Let's get ready to do our next experiment. For our next color experiment, we are going to be making rainbow flowers. So we are going to need a few supplies before we get started. You are going to use the colors that you mixed for our last walking rainbow experiment. I did add a couple more drops of food coloring to each one so that it can make our flowers even more vibrant when they finally change colors. So you're also going to need white flowers. So I have carnations here. They're probably going to work the best. However, if your garden is already blooming and you have some daisies outside, any white flower will work. And you are going to need some scissors and the help of an adult for the second part of this experiment. So I have a few colors, but I also have just a cup of water because we want to have a control in this experiment, something that's not changing, so that when we look at it later, we can see the difference between the 2 types of flowers. So I'm going to take my first flower, and you're going to trim them. If you trim them now, it's going to make your experiment go a little bit faster because it's going to be a fresh cut, so the water is going to want to travel up the flower faster. So there is our control. So every flower has different parts. We have our petals at the top, we have our stem, and then inside your stem, if you look closely, there are these tiny little tubes. That is how you water plants. The water enters from the bottom or the roots if it's something that's still planted in the ground, and it travels up the top and it evaporates out of the petals. So this process is called transpiration, the process of the water traveling to the top and evaporating off the petals. The other word that goes into this is called cohesion. Cohesion is the idea that water actually sticks to itself. So as water evaporates out of the petals and it gets sucked up through the stem like a straw, like a drinking straw, the water needs to be replaced. So as it goes up, the water needs to replace down here. So that's where cohesion comes in, because water sticks to itself. So it's pulling, like a straw, up to the top of the flower to keep it alive and watered. So we are going to use transpiration and cohesion when we add our flowers to these different colors. So I am going to cut a couple stems so that there's maybe about 5 inches and put them in our different liquids. So I have 1 flower in each one of our colored liquids. So this is where we are going to test the theory that the stem is like a drinking straw and the water gets sucked up. Like I said, there are tiny little tubes that pull the water up the plant. So what I'm going to do, and what I think you need the help of an adult for, is I am going to, for my next flower, trim it to 5 inches, but then I'm going to very carefully splice it open down the center so that I can take my flower and stick it into 2 different colors and we can see what happens then. So I'm going to do a couple flowers that way. So it'll look like that, where it's still attached. And you can kind of bend it and then put it into 2 different colored liquids. And we'll see what happens. Might have to cut it a little bit more. So all of our flowers are either in the single colored liquid, and we have 3 that are in 2 different colors. So we're going to let these drink up some water for a couple of hours and then we'll check back in on it. So our flowers have been in the water for only an hour and they're already starting to change colors. They are using the processes of, does anyone remember? Cohesion and transpiration. That's what's drawing the water up their stems onto their petals as the water evaporates out into the air. So I'm going to bring these up just a little bit closer so that you can see the different colors that we're getting. We have green, the green one's really coming through. And then over here, we have our orange and our red flowers starting to change color. I am going to wait until tomorrow when we check in on these again to show you the 3 flowers that we put into 2 colors, because I really want you to be able to see the difference between the one half of the flower and the other. So we are 24 hours in on our flower experiment and they have all changed color. Take a look at this one that was in the orange. Turned out yellowy, but the very tip is turning orange right there. You see that? I think if we were to leave them in the water even longer, they would get more and more colorful. The green one looks like it's ready for St. Patrick's Day. Purple one is very interesting because to make the purple dye, we had to mix the red and the blue. So if you look really closely, you can see bits of red and blue. And then the really cool flowers are the ones that we split the stems. So this one was in between the orange and the blue. And it's further proof that inside the stem are those tiny tubes that are watering the plant, that are pulling the water up. And we've got our blue and red. So I'd like to see what you guys do at home. You can try maybe doing 3. I don't know if it would work if you could split this in 3 and make a totally rainbow or tie-dye type flower. Post pictures in the comments so I can see what you made. For our last activity today, we are making spinning tops. So here I've made one out of cardboard and a toothpick. And this one's made out of thick paper and a Q-tip. So we're going to talk about color mixing. When I spin this top, which has red and blue on it, it looks like it's purple. What's happening is called an optical illusion. So the colors are moving so fast that it's blurring and our eyes are telling us that we're seeing purple, even though we have red and blue. So we're going to practice making some tops and mixing some colors, and you don't have to make this exact pattern for it to work. You can get a little bit more creative with it, but I'm going to show you how I made this one. So the first thing I did is I took a thin piece of cardboard, I got it out of a box, and I traced 2 circles. So I took the bottom of a cup and I traced that, and I used the top of a Gatorade bottle. So you need 2 different sizes. You need one that's big and then a smaller circle to go on top to add to the weight of the top so that it spins. So I'm going to trace a big circle and a little circle. And then I am going to cut them out. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to stack the little circle on top of the big circle. And then you are going to poke a hole through the very center. It might be easier if you do it separately if you're using cardboard, but if you're going to use thick paper like this, you could probably do it at the same time. Again, ask for the help of an adult so that you don't hurt yourself. I'm going to use a protractor to poke the hole in this one. So I have 2, a big and a small with 2 little holes. So you're going to either glue the little circle on top or you can use tape. I'm going to use tape. And then you get to decorate your spinning top. I'm going to use yellow and blue to make green. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do is add my toothpick. You're going to poke the toothpick through the top. There you go, you have a spinning top. I'd love to see what you make with your spinning tops, so please make sure to take pictures and post them in the comments below. Thank you for joining me today while we played with color. I look forward to seeing you for my next STEAM activity. If you want to know what's coming up with the Youth Services Department at Schenectady County Public Library, please join our Facebook page. It's SCPL Youth and Families. See you next time.